Shout out to that good Lord for that wood in the morning. You know what I'm saying, boys? Oh, Cooper Webb. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. So, we're going to be talking about the absolute hilarious interview that Cooper Webb had after the Seattle main event, and also just the race in general, little recappy style video here. So, I can't even really say it. I mean, you know, you're just going to have to go back and watch the interview at the very end of it, right? Webb talking about him getting arm pump, right? You know, your arm's swelling up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, boys? But what happens when you get arm pump out there, right? Shit gets a little pumped up, boy. Pump it up, boys. Oh, man. So, what's funny about this, though, is, like, I've kind of noticed Cooper Webb, he tries to, like, in some of his interviews, he'll try to throw something kind of right on that borderline of what he should be saying, what he shouldn't be saying, you know. I've kind of caught him doing that, man. Cooper Webb, a dog, by the way. But, you know, there's been a couple interviews I've seen where he'll just throw in like a random shit, damn. You know what I'm saying? He'll throw in some random shit, and you're like, what the did Cooper Webb just say that shit? Like, what? Like, what? You know, so this is not just like a totally new thing here, but I don't think he's ever really said anything quite like this before on national television. And he, right after he said it too, it was kind of funny. He kind of knew what the hell he just said, and he was like, yeah, I just got y'all boys. That was funny as fuck. Oh, man. You know, Cooper Webb giving all of us dudes out here a good old chuckle, and, you know, just after a whole night of watching racing, I'm all down for it. Let's hope Webb doesn't get fined for saying that, you know what I mean? That would be kind of stupid at this point, but yeah, just funny. It's like, you know, you think Cooper Webb's just this like kind of soft-spoken, like, you know, just like shout out to God, you know, let me thank God, you know, shout out to the man above type shit, and then he'll randomly throw something like some, you know, some high school humor in there real quick ski. Kind of throws you off guard a little bit, but Cooper Webb's sneaky like that. It's kind of cool. And I just think it's cool when these guys act like normal humans for once, and they don't just act like a robot on the podium, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of them boys don't loosen up enough. They just get too, I don't know what you want to call it, corporate, you know, family friendly, I don't know, and then it kind of loses the realness to it, right? Of course, Cooper Webb went way over. I mean, you know, that was some like, might tell your teammate after the race or something when you're just trying to get a good old laugh out of him. That might have been something to say then, right? But Cooper Webb just let that shit go right on the podium interview, bro. Hell yeah, dog. I'm down for it. Spency boy, all down for it, bro. For show. But anyways, yeah, Cooper Webb definitely the big dog for this one right here. That was just kind of like a, whoa, double take, brother. Like, did you really just say that shit, brother? Oh, yeah, I think you did, dog. Oh, man. Even the chick that was, like, interviewing him was like, okay, yeah, alrighty, let's move along here. So, yeah, that was probably, I'm not even going to say probably, that for damn sure was the best 450 main event of the entire year, and it wasn't even close. The 450 main in Seattle, bro, that shit took me back to like the Villapoto racing days, okay? We ain't had a main event like that in a long time. That was sick as fuck, bro. Like, just having Chase Sexton up there and then getting Webb up in there. The track was gnarly, bro. And they were going back and forth. Mistakes were happening. Jett Lawrence gets up there. He's going 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else. He just zooms right up to the front, runs into Webb, falls down. We think he's going to get back up there again. It just really had that vibe to it. Like, nobody could pull so far ahead where it was just obvious that nobody else is going to be able to catch them. And that's good racing to me. This is where I don't understand when some of these goof-ass balls start talking about, you know, oh, well, the easier tracks or the tighter tracks where everybody's hitting the same exact line and they're all in an exact single file line, that creates good racing. No, the hell it doesn't. The more difficult the tracks are, the more gnarly, the more big rhythms, the more ruddy, the more savage the track gets, the more separator the track gets, the better the racing is. I don't understand. Sometimes, Ricky Carmichael will go down that vibe a little bit, and also, like, I've seen Zach Osborne on Twitter go down that vibe a little bit after we'll have a race where, them tracks that I'm talking about, where they'll go out there and everybody's in a perfect single file line the entire time, and, the top guys are going around the track the exact same way that everybody else in the top 10 is going around the track, and then there's like one pass made the entire race. Why in the hell, why on Pastrana's green earth do people think that that is good racing? I have no idea, but this Seattle main event should go to show you, it should go to prove to you, when you have a gnarly, super rutted, tons of different rhythm opportunities for guys to hit, everybody going in all different areas on the track, that's what creates good racing, where people can actually catch back up, where mistakes can be made. This is where I don't understand when they start making the tracks easier, they start making 9 whoops only, no dragons back. What the fuck are y'all doing? It doesn't create better racing when you make everything easier. Like let me say it like this. I would rather see guys go from, leading the race by quite a bit to getting caught and passed, or making a mistake and then going, back some positions, or like guys catching up, versus just seeing like an absolute train of riders that are really close to each other, but then nobody ever passes each other. That's not good racing. Where it looks like, NASCAR racing, where they're all right there in a line and then nobody passes anybody, and then there's like one pass made the entire... Why do people think that's good racing? I have no idea. But I would rather see them get a little more spread out, but then they can also gain or lose a lot of time. That's better racing to me than everybody being, bumper to bumper, but then nobody ever makes a move on anybody. And this Seattle main event should go to show you that. Like, it gave that opportunity for Webb to catch up and pass Sexton. I think Sexton made a mistake, there was always that lingering super fast Jett Lawrence in the background that could have caught up to them boys. That would have been an awesome 3-way battle had Jett Lawrence been able to, not get a little bit too far ahead of himself when he was starting to get up close to Cooper Webb. So now Cooper Webb gained some points on Jett Lawrence. He's only 16 back now. Jett Lawrence gonna have to get on them beans again, you know what I'm saying? This is getting good, bro. But it's kind of funny, though, because, whoa, there you go, Spency boy. Carmichael was kind of talking about it. It looked like Webb was getting some arm pump out there. It kind of looked like he was hanging off the back of the bike, and that's exactly what was going on. I just assumed because of how gnarly the track was, it was basically like a mutter that they could still go full speed on. That's pretty much what it was, right? This is where I don't agree with everybody talking about we need perfect track conditions. We need all the tracks in a closed stadium so it's impossible to ever rain on it, or we need to make the tracks easier. We need to make them safer. That's all a big load of bullshit that does not create better racing. Okay, yes, sometimes a absolute swamp-ass mutter can actually create worse racing, but a lot of times, with how easy they're making the tracks to begin with, like they didn't even have a regular Supercross triple on this track. They cut down some stuff expecting a mutter, which it didn't turn out to be a full mutter, but it was still like the dirt had been, really rained on, which created that extra level of ruts and skill gap and difficulty and separation, which then in turn created the better racing. So if they're not going to make the track skill gapped and difficult enough, and they keep taking out big rhythms anytime somebody hits anything in qualifying, you know, they keep, you know, taking the whoops out, they keep doing all this other bullshit, that's why you've seen so much boring racing this year. I think the racing's been more on the boring side than fun side, honestly. Like, typically what keeps happening is you'll get one or two guys will get a good start and they pull away and it's impossible for anybody to catch them. That's what keeps happening out there, man. But Seattle was a totally different story. I mean, that was awesome. That was some awesome racing, dude.